Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
Let's take some calls from the public, shall we?
Join the afternoon stretch now on the Cure Hotline. 615-844-5600. Now here's Bruno and Zach.
4 o'clock here in the Music City, so you know what time it is. Time for the afternoon stretch here on Nashville Sports Radio. Bruno Reagan, Ray Dosky, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio on this Tuesday, August 23rd edition of the show. So glad that you are alongside with us. If you want to jump in, we want to talk to you. The Cure Hotline wide open, 615-844-5600. We want to hear from you today. So much going on, so much to announce, so much to do. So little time, Bruno.
Liar,
you think so? Not a lot going on today?
Nah, there was a decent bit.
There's some stuff happening. 5 o'clock, 5:50 that is. Braves are going to take over. We're going to be done just slightly early today.
Is that true?
That's true today.
Okay.
Yes, that is a true statement today.
I love lying on the airwaves, so even if it wasn't.
Well, yesterday... of course, we had Western Kentucky Coaches Show, but the Braves ended up getting into a weather delay anyway. So they were supposed to go 5:50. They didn't even go till I think they almost 7 or so from however it went. But Braves will definitely be on the docket today. A lot to go into. Like I said, a lot to announce. But we always want you to jump in. 615-844-5600. Cure Hotline wide open today. Also, if you want to jump in on the comment section of our Nashville Sports Radio video feed, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you could do that as well. Always happy to answer any questions, comments, concerns on there as well. So much. We have so much happening, so much to talk about. But we're going to lead off with some in-house stuff. Can we do that, Bruno? Can we lead in with some in-house? Well, first off, how are you doing? I didn't ask that yet.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, you're back to that mood? You've been good about just yeah, I'm doing good. But today it's I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked in the mirror today.
Well, just to stop doing that. Then your problems all go away, It's no big deal at that point.
Yeah.
We have to announce that we are back in gear for our Fantasy Football Listener League. The Afternoon Stretch Listener League is back in. If you're wanting to get involved, we put out a tweet a little bit ago. Already had spots filled up, but we still have some spots available. If you want to jump in, you got to do it either by DMing on Twitter, Bruno or myself, or just try to get in contact somehow. And you can get into the Listener League where Kayla won last year from the Listener League side. And that's the end of the story. Nothing else happened. So, no, Bruno.
What if I do go back to back?
If you do, then I'll give you every flower you absolutely deserve. How about that?
What does that even mean?
You get all the flowers.
Okay.
That means I will give you all the praise for
There's just something about
being the fantasy football genius in the room. Is that what you want? Is that what you want me to say? You want to break me down as a man like that?
No. I think there just comes a time where the cold hard truth comes and people realize this guy isn't bad at anything.
At anything. Oh yeah, I saw your stupid tweet. Was it yesterday?
A stupid tweet. Which one?
You put out the trying to figure out when Bruno's wrong level impossible.
Oh yeah,
about what was it? Somebody's MCL.
How do you say his last name? It was the Giants defensive end, first rounder out of Oregon.
Oh, Thibodeau.
Yeah, Thibodeau guy. I saw him get rolled up. I went instantly was like, well, that's the same day happened to me. That's I'd guess MCL. Comes back, it's a sprained MCL. I was like, oh, look at that.
Nick's already on Twitter because Nick was the first one to jump in. The second we put the tweet out, went live. He wants a spot. He's going to have a spot. We're probably going to have some people that are returning from last year that are in as well. But if somebody new wants to jump in, we have limited spots. We did 12-man team last year. So if you want to get in, you got to do it. There's not many spots that are going to be taken up here, or that will be taken up, so you're not going to have much time to jump in on it. Nick says Bruno is going back-to-back. I'll make sure of it. Not going back-to-back is what he meant to say, though.
Yeah, okay.
He's making sure that you were
not.
He was
wow.
We're already getting collusion before the draft or anything even starts here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
By the way, we do a PPR system.
Yes.
I think, did we end up doing half-point PPR last year?
No,
we might have.
We did point PPR.
We did a full good. That's because that's how it honestly needs to be, a full point PPR. Yeah. So if you want to get in on the afternoon stretch, second annual, it's the second one, because first it was the inaugural, because that was the first time we ever did it. Now it's an annual, once a year we do this, and we go all the way through the fantasy football season.
$1,000 to join also. You have to
You
pay
to Bruno directly.
Venmo at Bungo Hard 6. That's my Venmo. Send it.
There you go.
Don't send money to Bungo Hard.
Hey, also, always good to tell you, this is all parody and it's all fake. So there is no money. This
is something I'll actually admit is parody.
Paid.
Yeah, I actually admit it's parody. There is no money.
This is free to enter.
This is for fun, yeah.
You just have to let us know what's going on and who if you're wanting to get in or not. So once again, jump in the DMs of Bruno or myself, and we will get you in there. I'm trying to think who all was in it last year. We had Scott, who was a Vandy fan, because didn't he invite you up to
tailgate? Yep.
Yeah, tailgate and got some food. I can't remember ever. I'm gonna have to go back and look because I don't even think I've activated the league yet. We have to reactivate the lead and all that kind of stuff, but. We'll have some returners, and but definitely some spots for some new people if you want to get into it. So once again, jump in on the DMs. Bruno, we've had so many different stories. Can we talk sports now?
Yes.
Is that cool? Are we able to do that on a sports talk show?
Yes.
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 We've had one story. It's been Live Golf, right? That was a big summer one that went through, and there was tons to talk about all summer. The other side of this was basketball. Where was Kevin Durant going to go? Where was Kyrie Irving going to go? What's going to happen to the Lakers? Who's going to go anywhere? And this is one of those fantastic cases of where people pontificate and they speculate and they say all these big flattery words that are trying to make themselves seem so smart, and they're going to make these predictions, and this is going to happen, and my rumor says this, and my insider says that, and nothing happens. Kevin Durant staying with the Brooklyn Nets.
Brooklyn Nets are like, give us 4 first-rounders for this aging guy who can't win a championship by himself.
Who wants me? No one. No one.
Oh, at least someone wanted Baker.
Yeah, true. That happened for Baker Mayfield. It worked out for him in that situation. But
nobody wants KD.
Kevin Durant staying now in Brooklyn. And look, I mean, this isn't – what's going to change for this Brooklyn Nets team? Outside of Kyrie Irving playing more games, which we'll see what happens on that side, this team's not getting any better.
Yeah.
It's not like they're gonna. We've seen so far 2 years of this trying, and they haven't done anything with it. So what are we gonna see? Anything different from this team? Or
we might see Ben Simmons.
I forgot he was even on the team, and I think majority of America forgot too. So you might see Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving,
but Ben
Kevin
Simmons
Durant.
has the best deal in the game right now. He's not even touching the court and just gets paid. So
the max.
Why would he give it up? Why ever go back to work? These fools.
No.
Playing him like a fiddle.
Yeah, so I mean they're not going to go anywhere. That's really what it is. Something that I've been hearing today, which is, these things happen in basketball all the time, right? Any player, it's like immediate. I feel like football, baseball, you don't hear people talk about legacy. It's not some like prolific thought or anything like that. But Kevin Durant in basketball, obviously LeBron. How does this affect LeBron's legacy? How does this affect Kevin Durant's legacy now?
Yeah, basketball is really big on legacy. Well, I feel like Durant's been at the same. I mean, we're not even talking about legacy. I think he'll be considered one of those big guys who was able to do the shooting thing early. But other than that, there are people that put him outside of the top 5 in the NBA right now. So legacy, he could just end up being a Tracy McGrady that went to the Warriors.
Well, I mean, you got a ring. You got 2.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's always big. But this is a situation.
He doesn't have a good social legacy in terms of people don't respect him.
No, he's already disrespected. If anything, let me say this. Do you look at him in a better light? Because it wasn't really his choice. I mean, it is kind of because the NBA what does GMs and coaches even have anything to do with anything anymore outside of the bottom of the barrel teams where they have no stars? But with someone like a megastar like Kevin Durant, he had his choice to go look for a trade, but at the end of the day, the Nets had to bring it in and make it his trade. You know, they had to approve it. They had to get the buyers and all that into the deal. But if Kevin Durant came back and said, I'm going to stay with the Nets, this is a reversal of how he was when he was with the Thunder, right? He rode out the Thunder for a while. Then he left to go directly to an instant contender, got his rings immediately, and people hated him then. Now it's a situation of he's just staying in Brooklyn.
Well, there are no. I mean, the level of competition in the NBA has gone. I'd say it's gone up. It's like pretty leveled at the top where, yeah, the Warriors are still consistently getting to the end, but it doesn't matter where KD goes. Whatever that team has to give up to get KD is going to make it the same level Brooklyn's already at anyways. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Right, because they're not – you're getting the –
It's a soul for a soul.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening.
I just don't think the team – I mean, we've seen it already. We've seen everything, all this happen.
I feel that way with James Harden. Get that man off my telly now.
Yeah, so you were happy with that. You were. I mean, he's with Nets obviously now. Or sorry, he's with the 76ers now.
Yeah. Joel Embiid was like, we need another superstar at Philadelphia. They traded for James Harden. He's like, Miami needs a new superstar.
Who wants me? Just all over again. Who wants me? Where do you put Brooklyn right now in the NBA? Ben Simmons.
Top. They're like, because so East, you got the Celtics, you got the Heat, you got. I don't even want to start with the NBA. They might, because I'm done ranking them. Oh, they're the top team. They're minus 400 favorites to win the finals. They're obviously not those guys, right? Something goes awry. They're like fourth in their conference.
Yeah,
they're like fourth in the East right now, and that's it.
I haven't looked to see if FanDuel has futures on this yet for NBA. I imagine they do. And I imagine this has to somewhat move the needle, right? Like, there's got to be some sort of...
I figure it would move in Brooklyn's favor from what it was with their whole team imploding not a month and a half ago.
If you were to think a top three favorites for the NBA championship in 2023 right now, outright betting, on code TAS FanDuel.
Golden State's number one.
Nope. And that's all right. That's surprising to me. This list is very surprising to me.
Okay, so
if you're wanting to make some money, this might be a good futures NBA pick.
Phoenix Suns number one?
No.
Well, I'll get
it's
one
all East right now.
No way.
Top three are all East.
All right, so number one is the Celtics.
Yes.
Number two is the Heat.
Milwaukee.
Number three is the Heat.
Number three is the Nets. So they have the Nets top three. So here's your. I'll give you a top five here. On FanDuel right now, I'm sitting here looking at it right now. Boston Celtics number one plus 500, which they were there. They got to the dance, and here you go. Milwaukee Bucks plus 650.
They have motivated Shaq on their team.
Yes. Brooklyn Nets plus 700. That is very shocking to me.
Yeah, that's throw your money in the fire.
Yes. Los Angeles Clippers plus 700. So that
would surprise me that they're the top team in the West.
And then Golden State plus 700.
Wow, I'd take Golden State.
And for all you Lakers fans, they're plus 2,400 right now.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No. Grizzlies, for our own sake here in Tennessee and on the station.
Plus 1,000?
Plus 2,100.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
I actually like that one.
That's a massive bet. Are you kidding me?
Plus 2,100 right now on a future of Ja Morant and this Golden State Grizzlies team that we know was like, one game away pretty much from getting it.
For $21,000 if they win the thing.
Yes. Oh, wait. Hold on, Bruno. You're going down a dangerous road here. I feel like as your friend and financial advisor, I need and agent and weight loss coach.
Yeah, that's why it hasn't gone so well.
Exactly. Your mind also, so it's just been terrible. Don't put $1,000 on that. But
what about 10,000?
You got it.
What about $10,000? Because that would be $2,100,000.
How many more times do we need to see the Brooklyn Nets not be a favorite? How many times we got to see them get bounced out with this star-studded team before we? I mean, is this the year that they're going to be? You know what? Let's figure it out now.
No, I already know what's happening. Kyrie is doing the ayahuasca stuff right now as we speak.
If there's anybody, that is so true. Kyrie Irving is the Aaron Rodgers of the NBA.
Yes, 100%. It's
phenomenal talent, God-given talent that is just so secondary in that person's life.
Yeah.
That he could just always fall back on to like, oh, okay, I'll throw for 3 touchdowns. Okay, I'll go for 30. I'll go for a nice triple-double tonight.
Aaron Rodgers just all of a sudden sheds 5 tacklers on him and throws the ball 75 yards in the pocket like a water drop down the field. He's like, I guess we're done.
He's like looking up at the sky, wondering, okay, how are the stars aligned right now? I think that one affected my throw. Mercury's in retrograde right now.
His girlfriend, Blue of Earth, is in the stands just performing some.
And for anyone who doesn't know, that's
pagan
also
ritual.
That's also her name. Blue. That's not a joke.
I feel like every day we lose a little bit.
A little bit.
You get what I'm saying, though, right?
Yes.
It all started, I feel like it had to have started, 8 years ago? I felt like everything just started going wrong. You know?
It's just gotten weirder and weirder every single day.
Yeah, I think it started with the Kardashians, personally.
That's a long time ago.
Well, main prominence, 8 to 10 years.
NBA regular season MVP, just for anyone right now, where would you think Kevin Durant lies? 2022-2023 season.
Is it in the top 10?
Yes.
8.
No. Where would you give it? Let me say this. What would you give his odds on code TAS FanDuel?
Code TAS on FanDuel. I would put Kevin Durant plus 1,200.
Close. Plus 1,000. He is number 5 in line. Right behind him at plus 1,200 is Steph Curry.
Behind him?
Yes. It says Stephen Curry, which is just, it messes me up.
What are the top 4?
Top 4 goes Luka Doncic, plus 450. He's the number 1 candidate. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I messed it up there in the middle of it, but no big deal. Plus 700. Joel Embiid, plus 700. And the Joker at plus 1,000.
Joker at 1,000, huh?
Ja Morant, for everybody out there, plus 1,500.
I don't know. I feel like Joker always just steals the MVP. And that's me not knowing anything about basketball. I would just always see this tall Slavic guy getting the most valuable player.
Scary guy. Yes. Yeah, that's I'm very surprised that the NBA championship futures right now. I mean, I wish I would have seen if they made a jump because of Kevin Durant staying. I'm assuming they had to have gone up because of that on the bookmakers, but what is it we're seeing from that team? I mean, especially with Simmons being one of the big leaders of that team, or not leaders, but big talent on that team. There's nothing there for him. There's nothing that's going to be, oh, here we go. It's Kevin Durant time, baby. Time to, I mean, yeah, Kevin can win you some games, but he's not going to win you a whole series.
Yeah, I mean, then that's when you're like, oh, Kyrie, Kevin, James Harden, they're supposed to be. That's why it's a team. It's supposed to be a super team.
Well, Harden was. He's not on the team anymore.
I know.
But that was, at that time, that was the super team. We all thought for sure. And that's when they were the favorites.
The problem is
Blake Griffin was on that team too.
I always knew Harden was a fraud. So that was one issue.
This all stems back from a bad bet.
It was bad on his end, not mine. He was the first scorer of the game, was a 3 from him. He needed 2 more.
Just never got it. Did he get 2?
He got to 2, yeah.
And he just didn't get the 3rd.
Yeah. No.
Jeez, how do they always get it so right over there in Vegas? How do they do that?
I don't know.
I
was
crazy.
going to bed. I was going to bed and see him nail the 3 on my phone, and I go, easiest money of my life. Wake up, can't believe it.
Does that make you
yes.
like superstitious now? That you're like can't go to sleep if it's a big bet?
I'm not superstitious. I'm ultrastitious.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. Just a little. If you want to get involved, we want to talk to you. The Cure hotline wide open, 615-844-5600. Some more stuff going on right now all over the place. We want to talk to you, though. 615-844-5600. Back after this here on the afternoon stretch.
Good afternoon. We are still on the scene of an accident with injuries. Interstate 40 eastbound at Briley Parkway. That's going to be right there by the airport. We had a car go up under the trailer of an 18-wheeler, and that has both center lanes blocked. This time, going to continue to see blockage of those lanes for quite some time. So consider taking secondaries and alternate routes as you're headed back towards Mount Juliet and beyond towards Lebanon. With a huge demand for dental assistants, Dental Staff School trains you, then helps you start a career as a dental assistant. Google Dental Staff School. I'm Charlie Saunier, and that's On Time Traffic.
Hey guys, it's Zach from the Afternoon Stretch. One of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is that I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine prop bets from multiple games and now even multiple sports. It's called Same Game Parlay Plus, and you can only find them on FanDuel. Combine your favorite baseball home run hitters for a chance to score an even bigger payout. If you don't want to build your own Same Game Parlay, check out their popular Same Game Parlay section where you can join the bets other users are jumping on. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code TAS to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make every moment more and download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just use promo code TAS so they know that we sent you. 21 up and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Hey, Braves fan, it's time for baseball, and that means it's time to cheer on the World Series defending champions, the Atlanta Braves, in the 2022 season. Attorney Klein Preston of the Klein Preston Law Group wants you to join him in cheering on the World Series defending champions, the Atlanta Braves, for the start of the 2022 season. Here's to another amazing season for Braves country here on your home for the Atlanta Braves. Nashville Sports Radio.
Dry rub wings are back at Slim Chickens. Fresh, fried, and full of flavor. Like smooth and kickin' cayenne ranch, zesty lemon pepper, or turn it up with new spicy Nashville hot. Try them today with a meal or feed your hungry crowd. But hurry, they're only back for a limited time. At Slim's, bold flavor is what we do. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. This afternoon, sunshine with a shower of thunderstorm spots, a high 90. Slightest chance for a thunderstorm this evening, otherwise partly cloudy tonight, low 70. Saturday, partly sunny with a chance for a shower of thunderstorm. Utilizing the resources of the Mother Bug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Renaud.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
The Afternoon Stretch. The best show? I don't know if I can say that, man. I'm going to move on to the next one.
Welcome back to the Afternoon Stretch. Bruno, Reagan, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studios. If you want to get involved, we want to hear from you. The Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. Wide open right now. Today, actually 20 minutes ago or so, the roster cuts to get the NFL teams down to 80 players just went by. So 85 to 80 is where they went. So just cutting 5 players, Bruno. Next week, 53.
30. Yeah. I was going to say, this is the most fun part they're going into, where the people who know... By now, people typically know if they're getting cut or not. So,
one of those names that got cut.
What?
Falcons, Auden Tate. Wide receiver, big body. How big is Auden Tate? I can't remember exactly how tall. He's a large. Look, I mean, there's large people in the NFL. We already know that, right? Like that's pretty average. Auden Tate's a big guy. Came out of was with the Bengals at first. Let's see. He is 6'5". Large guy. Released by the Falcons. First off, I just tweeted this out, and I do believe it, because the Titans they're in a better situation than what the Atlanta Falcons are for wide receiver right now. It's not crazily better though. On the outside looking in, if I'm the inside looking out, I would say, yeah, it's better than than the Falcons situation. I feel like they have no studs, no stars.
Drake London going for 1,200 because you said that.
Well, he got injured, did he not?
Did he?
I don't think it's anything serious,
Yeah.
but it was in there. Still though, early on, you just don't want to see that.
Played injured every year.
Well, that's true. These are facts. But on tape, someone like that in a team like that, 25 years old, where do you how can you get cut? Is it just
Special
bad
teams.
play? You think special teams?
100%. I think he either didn't want to do them or he just sleepwalked through them. And some young cat that's super hungry gave all of his effort on the reps, and they're like, "Yep, we're not playing you." I guarantee you that's what happened to special teams. Guarantee it. If he was good, he would be on the team.
They signed him in March.
You can't just catch passes and be, a depth guy. That world doesn't exist. There's a lot of guys in the NFL, even if you're on the roster, you got to, pay your dues, play those special teams. And the real greats, the Ed Reeds of the world, embrace it.
Do you think that the Titans will make any move on him? Given their wide receiver situation right now.
No.
You don't think so?
Nope.
It's like, how can you not use a 6'5" guy? That's one thing the Titans wide receivers don't have. Racing McMath.
I play with a lot of tall wide receivers that suck.
True. They are out there. That's for sure. But the Titans really don't have much size at the wide receiver spot at all right now.
You don't need size at the wide receiver spot. You really don't.
You don't think so?
No. The Rams were probably the craziest passing threat, and they relied on Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and Van Jefferson.
Yep.
And OBJ, who is also not physically imposing. So that was the best passing attack. That was the best passing attack in the league probably last year.
Robert Woods, how tall is Robert Woods? He's 6 foot, so he's right. He's very short for NFL standards. Let me say that. But a 6'5" guy just to have out there ready to go?
If he got cut from the Falcons, why would anybody else want him?
I will say that is a good point. But
yeah, it is.
I'm not going to lie. It's a shocking cut. It's a really shocking cut.
Getting cut, there are no equal cuts. If you get cut from the worst team in the NFL, there's a fat chance another one's going to take you.
The Titans cut so far because they're already 2 80-man rosters, so they're clear for the day. They've already got there. They got there, I think, like a couple days ago. They've been here for a little bit now. Jordan Wilkins, running back, that was one that I thought maybe there was more upside in the future of him in case, the break glass emergency situation for the Tennessee Titans, which they had to go through last year with Derrick Henry going down, and it's just fine. Let's just throw people out there, and maybe somebody will hit, and they got lucky on 2 guys that hit pretty well. Terry Godwin's gone, Brandon Lewis, Josh Malone. That was one that I had to eat crow on. I thought for sure he was going to make the team. Another big body guy that just didn't make it. Briley Moore, Daniel Munyer, Carson Green, Haskell Garrett, Justin Lawler, Shakir Brown, Elijah Brayton, Terrell Bonds, Deontay Burton, Shaheem Carter, and Michael Griffin are the cuts that the Tennessee Titans have gone through so far. No real massive cut right now that's happening because this is to this point, but next I saw this talk. I think it was Jim White actually that was putting this out there, talking about the quarterback situation for the Tennessee Titans. And more specifically talking about the Malik Willis, Logan Woodside position for the Tennessee Titans. He had put it out there believing that the quarterback number 2 for the Titans is not on the roster right now.
What does that mean? Like they're going to go get somebody?
Like Malik Willis is not going to be the quarterback 2 just because of the situation. What we've all talked about this whole time. Malik Willis.
They want him. They don't want him to play at all.
They don't want him to play,
chill.
which I think is so the right way to go.
So, like, pay a Jimmy G like a few.
I don't even think that high. I think this is like a Chad Henne or,
but not Logan Woodside.
I don't. I think Logan Woodside is, and this is also Jim White, writer for the Titans. What he's saying, or
this is also me, Bruno Reagan, saying, "I'll see you in the USFL next year."
Yes,
big dog.
You might see Josh Malone there too.
That's the best part about cuts. I'm looking at my future teammates, and I'm talking about them right now. So,
oh God, you really are. That never even dawned on me. I wonder how many of these guys could be abandoned next year.
Yeah, because For all I know, because we had a good quarterback and he hasn't been signed by an NFL team, so I would expect Jordan, and I'm pretty sure Jordan wants to play again, so I expect him to come back. But who knows? We might go have OTAs in October. It's in a month. We haven't heard anything, so who knows? But I might see these guys in a month. A month.
But Logan Woodside, I think, is trying out for another team, basically. Like I think right now, all he's doing.
There are some people like that, and they'll tell you. Some teams will be. I think that's a respectful thing, is they'll tell you, "Hey, you're not making this team, but there's a chance. Put good film out there. You get signed on waivers after you get cut.
Right.
Happens all the time. Like there's really 2 final cut days. You know this? There's final cut day, and then there's the day after waivers. I had a good friend played at Vanderbilt, and so you could technically go out and find it, I guess. But good friend, he was a journeyman, made the team, 53-man roster. Next day, saw him on his private story celebrating with champagne. Of course.
Yeah, you made the NFL roster. That's
of
amazing.
Course, no, I would have done the same thing. I thought I got the bad end. Someone gets on waivers that the team wanted, so cut on the day after cuts to make room for the waiver player that another team cut. That's brutal. And that's totally within their right, and it's totally accepted. And it's like an ancient samurais. Just that's what you want to do when something like that happens to you in the world.
Well, I mean, there's a couple spots for the Titans right now that I think right tackle secure. I think Petit Free is going to be the right tackle for the Tennessee Titans. I've said that since he was drafted. I was like, he has everything there coming from Ohio State. He has the look. He has the feel. It's going to take some time for him, but he's going to be like a Nate Davis where it's going to progress every week. You're just going to see up and up and up and up and up, even more and more and more.
No, Titans got a pretty solid starting O-line outside of their left guard.
Well, see, that's where even when your dad had called in or you've talked about this, I think the left guard may not be on the Titans team right now.
Yeah, it's funny. I was always telling my teammates, left guard is probably the most useless position, or the least hardest. It's like the least mentally tough and least physically tough position, like expectation wise. I think that's the truth on an offensive football field. Your left guard, maybe right guard is the easiest because the right side is technically the easier side. Whatever. Yeah.
Is it really? I guess because the blind side, if you have a right-handed quarterback.
Technically,
If you have a left-handed quarterback, then I guess the right.
The right is, yeah. But
who's left-handed quarterback right now in the NFL? Is Lamar Jackson left-handed?
I don't know.
I have to remember. I don't know if there is one left-handed right now in the NFL.
There's definitely one.
You have the Steve Youngs of the world who was, the class. I'm going to have to look that up. Let's go to the Cure Hotline. If you want to jump in, 615-844-5600. Reagan over in Clarksville. Reagan, how you doing, brother?
This is one of the most brutal times of year. This is something that's going to happen. There's going to be players cut and going to be on the practice squad or out of football when they know, their teammates know, that they're better than the person that was kept, simply because they were a draft pick or the team has investment in them. And I would like to get Bruno to comment on that and how that could affect the team. Because that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, there are good players cut all the time. And there are players that aren't good. And there are players that players can recognize because we live, eat, breathe together. So you recognize a guy's learning potential. Their learnedness, their stewardness, their intrigue, I guess you could say, whatever word you want to use for it. You can tell the potential of somebody because you see how they work, you see how they live. Like, I play with a bunch of people that have all the talent in the world, and I know they'll never realize it, because they just don't know how to do it. And and when you show them how to do it, they don't care. So, yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, but I think everyone has a certain understanding that the NFL is one of those things. It's not a movie. It's, as people love to believe it is, it's not. It's not good people, good things happening to good people. It's not bad things happening to bad people. It's just things happen to people. That's the story of the NFL, and you got to learn how to deal with whatever it is.
I think sometimes as fans we tend to think they're going to keep the absolute best player no matter what.
No, that's not true. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, Logan Woodside's on the Titans right now.
Yeah.
He was on there last year, hanging out.
Yep. Well, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
No problem.
Thanks, Reagan. If you want to jump in, we want to hear from you. Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, though. How does it affect the team around them? If you have a guy that's You don't think so at all?
No, because everyone recognizes that it's just not a fair world. Yeah. The only way it can be fair is if it's not fair.
Majority of those guys have been screwed in some way, probably.
Yeah, so it's all like, oh.
Not everyone's Taylor Lewan or not everyone's Ryan Tannehill.
It's just such a high-stakes league, too. You're not worried about other people. You're like, I made the team. Let's go.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Time to autopilot through 20 weeks of football.
Yeah.
That's what people think. They don't think, oh, this guy or this thing happened to this guy and he was so much better than this guy. They think, I made the team. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's as forward thinking as most people are.
I wonder how tough it is too I guess it's probably not that tough for coaching staffs to figure out who they want to cut and move on from. But every year there's a guy, like right now we're in the middle of it with Tennessee Titans. Chestnut he's the team favorite for fans right now. The running back, like, I don't know if he's going to make the team. He might make a practice squad. Last year I think it was Mason Kinsey who, still on the team. He'll probably make a practice squad. Had a good chance up until Adam Phillips came in, or Kyle Phillips came in, and it was like, my team. Yeah. I'm the saucy white guy of this team. You're just the other white guy on the wide receiver roster. That's what you are.
Yeah, white people come in pairs, so. I don't know.
That one made no sense. You just had to, I felt like you just had to throw something
imagine, think back to your college days. Did you ever see a frat guy alone? They always walk around together. There you go.
Good point. Mainly because they paid to be that friend.
Yeah. You weren't in frat, were you?
No.
No,
not me. Not your boy. Didn't need to make friends like that.
So they also call you a nerd.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe I should have. My brotherhood. Whatever. Anyway, I think that there's always that player that fans get behind that never end up making the team. And I'm worried Chestnut's going to be that guy for the Titans.
Remember that Browns player that was like sleeping in a car and he played a little bit in the he actually played a little bit in the XFL, I think, but he was sleeping in his car, had a kickoff return. He lied to get into a Browns workout in Miami, got a camp invite, scored a touchdown in the preseason on special teams. Everyone was like, this is the guy. What a story. He has the best story. He made it against all odds. Gets cut like last week. This is not a fun story.
No.
He's broke.
Yeah.
God forbid, you want to know the best part about the NFL preseason? Most of the guys out there playing aren't going to make the team. You know what happens that low block on the Giants defensive end? If you get fined for that, you get fined $50,000 and you make $3, guess how much money you own the NFL?
Yeah.
You own them $47,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is insanity.
Would they actually make you pay it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's really sad if that's the real truth. That the NFL billion-dollar business is like, yeah, player who just missed the cut, you better give us our $4,000 right now.
I want to know. Maybe
I got to think there's some sort of like, look, you're just not going to pay anything. You know what I mean? You're just not going to make anything, but you don't have to pay us money, to play. That's some USFL stuff.
No, we wouldn't do that. That's an NFL thing.
XFL make you pay to play to give you a chance. You better find sponsors for your team to get into this league. That's some spring football stuff right there. Can you imagine the NFL just, you better pay us $5,000 right now.
The NFL telling a broke player, like, you owe us $40,000. You know that, right?
You better figure it out, too. You better get them Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Get to work. You got years to pay us now. Man, that's so sad. I wonder who's going to be the cuts for the Titans. There's going to be some, obviously, because they're going to have to get down to a 53-man roster next week. We'll start seeing as this week progresses more and more of who they're going to move on from, who they're not going to have on their team anymore. There's a lot of speculation on it, a lot of different places. I mean, majority of the guys are already made. They already know who's on the team right now, who's going to be on the team. They have that already lock, stock, and barreled. We'll see who they're going to get rid of and what they're going to do with their offensive line. That's another one right there. I'm really interested to see what happens on that offensive line. Like I said, I think Petit Free is going to be the right tackle no matter what, but we'll see what they end up doing with Dylan Reagan. Yesterday in training camp, I think I mentioned this, they were trying him out at left guard. Vrabel was asked about it and said that, just shuffling guys around. Coach answered.
Yeah, sticking the worst guy at left guard.
Yeah.
I mean, not against Raiders. He's just the fifth man of 5. So just stick the worst lineman we got at left guard, and that's how most teams handle it.
We'll see what they end up doing with him. I think I don't know. It seems like it was a rush pick when they picked him last year, and now it seems like they're just like, well, we just have this guy. What do we do? That's what the situation seems like.
Which is depressing.
It is really, right? I mean, I imagine more so for you, an offensive lineman. Could have been you.
I guess it could have been, but there's got to be, because there's this discord on him forever.
Yeah.
That he's not good. He's never going to be good enough. He's a bust.
Yeah.
And there's no way to really it's not like he can change that.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like he could be a wide receiver and just have a breakout year all of a sudden.
Yeah, he got exposed early. So everyone just kind of knows he's stealing.
But there's plenty of bad offensive linemen. We saw some in the Super Bowl last year.
That was pretty bad. I've never done a rep against Aaron Donald. So
Quentin Spain played here.
Yeah, I know.
People loved him here. I don't know about Cincinnati right now. We need to run to a break. If you want to jump in, Cure Hotline wide open, 615-844-5600. We're going to talk some NFL football in the 5 o'clock hour more with Bo Brack. He covers Arizona Cardinals. Of course, tomorrow the Cardinals will be in town. Joint practice for just one practice, and then they're going to stay in town, practice next to the Titans, but not joint practice, which is really strange. That's going to be a fun thing to see how that plays out. But a lot more involved if you want to jump in. Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600.
Good afternoon. Still on the scene of a crash with injuries. Interstate 40 eastbound at mile marker number 215. That's going to be Briley Parkway over in the Donaldson area by the airport. A car got up underneath the trailer of an 18-wheeler, and that has had the 2 center lanes blocked for quite some time. That has traffic very slow go as you're trying to make your way back to Mount Juliet and beyond to Lebanon. Also seeing serious slowdowns out there 65 southbound because of a crash at Trinity Lane. That's mile marker number 87. With huge demand for dental assistants, dental staff school trains youth and helps you start a career as a dental assistant. Google Dental Staff School. Charlie Sonia on time traffic.
Hi, I'm Carson Kressley. Of all the most valuable resources in the world, kindness is the most precious. For more than 140 years, American Humane has been working to make the world a kinder place for animals. Rescuing those caught in disasters, protecting animals on our farms, on the silver screen, and the world's remarkable and endangered species who need our care to help them survive. All of us can make a difference by making humane choices at the supermarket, in our choice of entertainment, and by supporting conservation and rescue efforts. It's not hard at all. Make being kind a lifestyle choice and visit AmericanHumane.org for simple ways you can help build a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for animals and for all of us.
Fantasy football isn't just a game, it's a way of life. And with the NFL Fantasy app, your life just got way better. Get all the touchdowns, fantasy points, and bragging rights all in one place. It's free and easy to play. Just sign up and draft. Optimize your lineup with one click and watch exclusive player stories. From the stars you know to sleepers who can win you your league. NFL Fantasy. We live for this. Download the NFL Fantasy app today.
Nashville Sports Radio is hitting the road. Join the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show the first Friday of every month as they broadcast live from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Check out the WNSR calendar for the dates and be there as Nashville Sports Radio hits the road the first Friday of every month. Come be part of the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show live from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel. The Greg Pogue and John Burton Show live from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel. On the air and everywhere with Nashville Sports Radio.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Follow the afternoon stretch on Twitter at Bruno Reagan and Zachariah W. Really, man? You want that? I'm not spelling that out.
Welcome back. The afternoon stretch coming to you live from the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studios. So, Bruno, you might have your chance. You might have your chance.
I hear that all the time.
Art Marino. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Who?
Art Marino.
No.
Owner of the Los Angeles Angels.
What'd he say?
He's contemplating selling the team.
Okay. I feel like
a lot of people are super sad about this, by the way.
I feel like a team in the millions of dollars is going to take a long time for this transaction to go through, which means, because I know what you're insinuating. You think Ohtani is going to The team's going to get bought out, maybe moved. Who's going to move out of L.A. market also? No one.
Anaheim.
What?
They're not in L.A. They're in Anaheim, but they still have the Los Angeles. I don't know how that. I think that's like a.
Anaheim is in L.A., Zach.
Is it in L.A.? That's
It's
a separate.
like-
It's two separate city names.
No, Anaheim's in L.A.
I've never been to California, Bruno. I don't own a globe. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
was
You
wrong.
just said it so
You want me to
confidently, I
say
got
it?
scared. I was like,
I
what
was
is-
wrong. Okay,
I was
there.
like, what are you talking about? Yeah, Anaheim's like right there.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, that's stupid. Why is it called L.A. then? If it's Anaheim,
L.A. is a massive city.
so it's a city within the city.
Yeah.
That makes zero sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. New York's a big city. There's a million different places in New York.
New York City, though, right? Like. Anyway, maybe I'm just stupid. There you go.
No, you definitely are.
That today I'm gonna wear the moniker of stupid for that because I don't know L.A. at all. But regardless, they probably won't move out of L.A. That's probably it is. What I'm trying to see is how do we convince him to sell it to us for what we can afford?
Extortion, the threat of violence.
Jeff
What else?
Passan, or Jeff Passan, whatever, he said the fallout for him selling the Angels would be monumental. One, it opens the door to a Shohei Ohtani trade or record-setting extension, which we know is going to happen. That is definitely whenever that contract is signed, he is going to sign the largest contract in baseball history. I'm very confident in that. Because he walks around like a guy who knows he's about to get $500 million. You know?
He just enjoys his day.
Maybe. Two, with enormous revenues, Angels still have never had a payroll over $183 million. That'll change.
Yeah, that will change.
And then he says, 3, MLB's most hands-on owner is gone. If you're an Angels fan, you must say, good. Because your hands-on owner has not helped your team be good at all.
I don't think any team in any sport has had a good hands-on owner. I'm trying to think of one.
Well, I mean, Jerry Jones.
No.
Look, the 90s were nice to Jerry Jones. That's
I wasn't alive. I literally, it was impossible for me to see it.
90
I did not exist.
whatever. They had 3 rings out of that time. They were good. You could say that. But now, if you were talking about modern era, sure.
Now a walking corpse is running your team.
I will always remember that Hard Knocks last year where he is just pouring not a bag of salt, multiple bags of salt onto a McGriddle and doesn't even spread it out, just lumps it all together like
What
one
is it with
pile.
rich people at McDonald's? Jerry Jones, Warren Buffett.
He loves McDonald's.
Trump. He's all about McDonald's.
Yeah, well, what team was the Clemson Tigers when he hosted them at the White House? They couldn't for some reason. It was a shutdown. The government was shut down or whatever, so they didn't have any. So he just bought a bunch of
Big Macs.
Big Macs and
It
stuff
was
like that.
the O lineman. There were pictures of the O lineman carrying 4 Big Macs.
That's pretty cool though. Still, at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, I would have loved that way better than any other stupid.
Yeah,
thing.
like duck. You know what I
no,
mean?
serve me Big Macs. you know?
What's the really fancy food? It's fish eggs.
Caviar.
Yeah, caviar. You know what I mean?
Delicious,
Come
by the
on.
way.
Is it really? I've never had it.
Yeah.
But still.
You wouldn't know much about the high life.
Oh yeah, I know.
Hey, dude, I wish there was still a feudal system. That would encourage me much more to try and jump class, because I'm on my Game of Thrones kick, and just seeing all the lords when they eat like kings, you know what I'm saying? That's what I want. But we live in a society.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, what'd you think of Game of Thrones, by the way? We didn't talk about it yesterday.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
I tried to, for Ted's sake, I tried to stay on sports.
Well, I mean, that's a cultural
massive.
Yeah.
First of all, it was amazing. Second of all, my mom watched it about 2 hours after me, and she has no idea what's going on. She texted me. She thinks the Targaryen brother, Daemon.
Yeah.
She's like, I think he's the Night King. Just
what?
Yeah. I didn't. I just gave her a heart. I didn't even correct her or anything. I was just like, that's kind of cute, honestly. She's just smiling, watching
that. I guess the Night King could be around right now in that.
Oh,
time frame.
he's alive.
Yeah.
No, he's there. He's just really far north.
Yeah.
Not showing himself.
Yeah.
You know how long? It was before the main series, dude. I know everything about the show.
172 years.
Yep, perfect. I know.
Because it said it right at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
It said, and they really let you know that this is before Daenerys ever showed up. Like, they were like, this is the 172 years.
No, it was awesome. I mean, it was the same locations, but it was like a different
I was hoping
atmosphere.
we'd get some sports cameo in there or something like that.
I don't mind the cameos. A lot of people,
like them.
A lot of people hate them. They're like, it takes away my immersion of this dragon show.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I know. I want to remember
Aaron
it's
Rodgers
not real.
got burned to a crisp. Boo! If anything, we should all have been cheering when Aaron Rodgers got incinerated.
I hope he gets back in the show again. Like, you know what I mean?
Incinerated again.
Yeah,
That's
just
the
right
cool thing
over
about this
again.
show is there's like a million dragons. Remember, the big thing about Game of Thrones was we were waiting for the dragons.
Yeah.
Like, we were like, where are the dragons? That was like when Game of Thrones first started. Everyone was like, where are the
Yeah,
dragons?
end of season, you see them finally hatch, right? And that's it. And then it's like, it's like 4 seasons later.
But they're babies. Yeah, they don't do anything until like 4 seasons.
Yeah.
That was the big thing then. Now it's just, there's a million of them.
Yeah.
It's going to get crazy.
Huh. Yeah, it was cool. I liked it. It was super brutal.
It was
If you
extremely
haven't watched
brutal.
It was really brutal.
Yeah. There's one scene specifically. Well, there's a
couple.
few.
There's
There's
a
a
couple.
couple. Which is why it's good. It makes me feel something.
Yeah, you definitely feel something in that time. It's a brutal. But that's Game of Thrones, man. Every Sunday.
And I love the acronym for it. Hot D. Yeah, House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon.
Hot D.
That makes sense. You said that last week, and I did not understand it. I just thought that's
just
what he
thought
was
I
just
going-
calling it that.
You thought it was the ramblings of a madman?
Well, because it's the writer calls it that.
Yeah,
And
George R. R. Martin. Yeah,
Yeah.
He was like,
So-
we're gonna call this one Hot D. Okay,
man.
I'm in. I'm in.
Like immediately. He didn't take all my money. You could have my $1,000 Vanderbilt bet. Here you go.
Yeah, but legacy and all that, they're like house, whatever. Like, you know how cool it'd be to have a house sigil? You know how cool it'd be to be a lord? A real one. Own a castle?
It's like, no. Well, I think it all suck.
Well, you look like one right now, you know?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I look like a field worker.
I look like a knight.
No.
I would be a knight.
Yeah, you're like the mountain, but like not that intimidating.
Not high that way. Not this way. You're like the mountain, but not this way. It's going that way.
All right, we need to run to a break. If you want to jump in, we want to hear from you. The Cure Hotline wide open, 615-844-5600.
Good afternoon. Still on the scene of a crash with injuries. Interstate 40 eastbound at Briley Parkway. That's in the Donaldson area right there by the airport. And that had the 2 center lanes blocked for quite some time. They had to stop traffic completely to move the wreck out of the center lanes. And that's going to have traffic slow go all the way through Mount Juliet and back to Lebanon. Please consider taking your secondaries, but those now are very heavy with volume as well. This traffic report is brought to you by Prince's Hot Chicken. Now hiring both locations. Catering service available for all occasions. Order online. PrincesHotChicken.com. Charlie Saunier, on-time traffic.
Xfinity Series race recap from Watkins Glen. I'm Kerry Murphy. This is the final lap. Kyle Larson led 7 of the 82 laps to take the win after his teammate William Byron tangled with Ty Gibbs late in the race.
Tried to lag back on the start and get a good run to push him and hopefully get him enough momentum to maybe clear in one, but they ended up being side by side, and that was kind of best case scenario for me. And again, tried to push him. He almost got clear, and Ty, fighting to hold on to the lead, drove in deep, and I haven't seen a replay, but I imagine his angles were just messed up and a bit out of control and probably got into William, and they both spun. So I knew, me not being as fast as those two, my only opportunity was going to be if they got racing. And, selfishly it worked out great for me, but would have liked to see us all three, maybe get to race for more than just a quarter of a lap there. But anyways, got to lead there and just had to try and not make any big mistakes to let AJ get around on me.
So you got AJ Allmendinger finishing second, followed by Sammy Smith, Noah Gragson, and Kaz Gralla rounding out the top 5. Projected playoff standings look like this: 5-1, Josh Berry, Justin Allgaier, rough weekend for him. AJ Allmendinger, Noah Gragson is second to Ty Gibbs, who leads the series by 5 wins. 4 regular season races remain in the Xfinity Series season. Up next, plate racing. Well, without plates, at Daytona, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on USA. Check it out.
If you want to start the semester strong, Staples has you covered.
A gaming chair for my dorm. I mean, a desk chair.
or studying.
Staples has you covered.
A better way to organize my stuff instead of using milk crates.
A desk lamp to help me pull all-nighters.
Staples has you covered with remote workspace solutions. And now get 25% off desks, filing and storage solutions, lighting, and decor with the purchase of any chair. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 9/24. In-store only.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
That's the sound of a crack in the ceiling found at a home inspection. But with a Realtor by your side, a newfound leak might only cause minor worries. With their expertise, a Realtor can suggest a credit at closing and even connect you to a contractor to help you shore up that leak and alleviate your worries. When it comes to cracks in your plans, the expertise of a Realtor can make all the difference. The difference between an agent and a Realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
A show called The Afternoon Stretch is a stretch. Calling it a show. The Afternoon Stretch.
Final moments of the first hour coming at you here on the Afternoon Stretch, coming live from the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. If you want to get involved, the Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. We want to hear from you, wide open right now. Did you see, Bruno, that the Tennessee Vols are in hot water again?
For what?
So it's not so much that the team is in hot water.
Speaking of, we should throw that whole city and program and area of the state in hot water.
You're not biased, though, to that thought at all, right? Like, there's no underlying issue that causes that?
No,
This is just you think this
No,
just
this
naturally.
is a logical reason and viewpoint.
They will permanently suspend linebacker, and he played on special teams, William Mohan. I might have said his last name right. It might be Mohan. But because of domestic abuse, he basically forced his way into drunk as he was to a girl's apartment, and you can fill in the blanks there. There's a lot more there if you want to go read about it. But got it, just a bad look for Vols in general.
I played with some. I don't think one guy speaks for an entire program. I mean, I came to Vanderbilt right at the tail end of one of the worst stories in sports. So I don't like judging programs for the acts of one guy. I've been teammates of people who I know are just like, these people should. I mean, you're worthless. You're a worthless person. So I don't. It just is what it is. It sucks. Hopefully that girl isn't traumatized over a monster, SEC level football player barging in.
Yeah. But Vols, once again, inside the wrong side of a story.
Yeah. It just feels like it happens.
They are permanently banning him, though. That's the team that's doing it. So I guess on the right side of that story, at least. All right, first hour is done. Got some more college football stuff we're going to talk on the other side. At 5:25, Bo Brack is going to join us, talk Cardinals, Titans, all that fun stuff right there. Got a lot of stuff going on, but we always want you to jump in. Go ahead and jump in on the Cure Hotline right now. We want your phone calls at the 5 o'clock, beginning of this. We want to hear from you. Something you got to say, something you want to talk about. We want to talk about it with you. 615-844-5600. First hour done. Got a second hour coming up. Don't go anywhere.
ABC News. I'm Derek Dennis. A federal judge has stopped the Biden administration from blocking oil and drilling permits. ABC's Andy Field.
Oil companies have waited nearly 2 years for this verdict. Now, no more federal blocks on their oil and drilling permits. Federal judge in Louisiana issuing a permanent injunction stopping the Biden administration from stopping or delaying oil exploration on public land. The president wanted that hold until his agencies could review if they were necessary. The judge ruling the president had no authority to pause the drilling the way he did.
Crews in Texas have carried out 300 water rescues following historic flooding. More than a foot of rain fell in a matter of hours. The governor has issued a disaster declaration for nearly 24 counties. The Internal Revenue Service says it's launched a comprehensive review of the agency's security systems amid a wave of threats against IRS agents. It follows Republican criticism over the funding approved by Congress to boost IRS resources. This is ABC News.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
O'Reilly. Stay cool this summer with AC Pro and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro ready-to-use refrigerant products that include a hose and gauge. Beat the heat before you hit the road with AC Pro at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Cobra, featuring the new LTDX drivers, engineered for the longest total distance with extreme forgiveness. Internal weights create the power core, and hot face technology delivers faster ball speeds at every contact point. 4 drivers to fit every golfer's needs. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
From the big game to the big dance, Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the Bar Line staff take care of you. Grab a Bar Line signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs, or a Bar Line's double stack, and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Lines, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
I gotta tell you something. It's kind of a self-embarrassing story because I'm just hanging out with my mom and she's watching My 600-Pound Life.
Great show.
The woman was 670 pounds and her boyfriend, I'm like, no way, looks like me.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Okay, it's happening.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
Let's take some calls from the public, shall we?
Join the afternoon stretch now on the Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. Now here's Bruno and Zach.
Second hour of the afternoon stretch here on Nashville Sports Radio. Bruno Reagan, Ray Dosky, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. If you want to get involved, we want to hear from you. Your hotline wide open, 615-844-5600. It's open all the way until 5:25, and then it might open up later in on the hour. But we end at 5:40 tonight, 5:49 that is, as the Braves take over from there. So we have a bit of an abbreviated hour here. Not as long, but the Braves will be coming on right after we're done here today. But we always, once again, want to hear from you. 615-844-5600, wide open on the phone lines right now. So Bruno and I, this story's all going to connect here in a second. You're just going to have to just go with me on this. Yeah. Bruno and I are in a dynasty league for fantasy. We're not talking fantasy football.
You want
right
to talk the dynasty?
We're not talking. We're just talking about a situation that we're in right now. We're in a trade where we're looking at, like with dynasty, you can have multiple picks, just like in the NFL, how they have 2025 picks or whatever in the future.
And if you don't know that much, a dynasty league is a league that keeps going. So we draft once and we play it out years to come.
And so we're talking about this trade. There's other people bidding on it, all this different stuff. And, you know, some people try and trade stuff in 2026 or something like that. And we're like, Bruno said it best. He's like, I may not be alive then. You know, that's 4 years from now. You know, It's crazy. Well, Nick Saban gets an extension through 2020 or 2030.
Yeah, I was saying I might not be here by 2025, 6. That's 5 years later. And he's way older than me.
Nick Saban, how old? Yeah, how old is he right now? Do we know off the top of our heads how old Nick Saban is?
I would guess 78.
I know we've done this a million times, and I can't believe I forget every single time how old this guy is. He's 70 years old.
Oh, that's not as bad.
70.
Then this is the last contract. It's got.
He will turn. Oh, he was born on Halloween. Spooky.
Dude, that's
so he will turn 71 this year. So his contract is pushing him towards 2030. So he will be almost 80 years old by the end of this contract.
That'll be the last one.
Has to be
There's
right.
nothing like signing a 10-year contract 8 years after you should have been retired.
I don't know if he should have been retired because he's just been winning.
I'm thinking of the natural workforce.
Right, yeah. He's way past that. The U.S. government was like, get out now, and he's like, no, I'm going to keep winning in Alabama. And on top of that, he got a raise. So he's got even more money. He's going to be getting paid $11.7 million per year.
It's really not. It really should honestly be more for what he's done for that school.
Yes.
It really should. It really should be like
through 2030.
40, 50. That's why I personally
40 or 50 million a year.
I think if there's any coach on the world that's actually worth it, it's him, just because the status quo of being in the top 4 every single year, it just doesn't happen without him. You can't even explain what he does, but he is the centerpiece of it.
Yeah.
You bring someone else in there, it just changes, and that change, you can only change so far from being the top dog. You're most likely going to change downward. I mean, I feel like Nick Saban's one of the guys who you pay 5 times. What's the coach making the most? Pay Nick Saban 4 times as much. And it's not because he does anything special. That's the worst. I get heated. I remember there was an article that came out where Nick Saban it was Najee Harris talking about his time in Alabama and how him and Nick Saban will always butt heads. At the end, it was good for him. And the comments were immediately like, how about you listen to the best college football coach ever instead of talking back? The kids these days just, it's like Nick Saban is, at the end of the day, he's some 5'2" old guy.
Yeah, he's got to be kind of out of touch with today's youth, I imagine.
Absolutely.
The only thing he can find common ground is just like, look at how much success we've had. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's great. But he's not like, look at me. He's not like Lane Kiffin. The way you look at Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin is very much in touch with today's youth.
Yeah, but there are people out there, especially in our region, the South, that think Nick Saban is this, like, extreme, like, they think he's just more than a man, which is like a deity. This is not. He's just some old dude that's done really well.
Oh, he's very much like you and I. I mean, this guy wakes up and eats oatmeal cream pies for breakfast.
Yes,
that's very much a cut from our cloth.
It's really not. I don't do that. Guys, I don't do that.
Okay, I do. I mean, I guess I thought we were in this together. Is really what I thought, but we're not apparently. So
I don't do that. So it's not even the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why. Look, I do see why Alabama brings him back. I understand it. Now let me ask you this question. Do you see him staying the length of this contract or retiring beforehand?
I think I'll say that. I think he's just one of those guys. I think who knows? He could get to the end of this and he's like, where's my 10 more years?
Right. He could. Yeah. he's just turned into like
he's bedridden.
Like an Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah, 30 years from now, modern medicine, who knows what happens? He's bedridden, but he's still like there wearing the shirt and in business as usual.
Yeah, he really could be.
The machine rolls on. You know that character, Blood Raven, that was in the tree? He lived forever. He was in the North. He was Bran's teacher. That's Nick Saban. He's just gonna
back to Game of Thrones.
Right
back into it.
He's just eternal, all-seeing, all-knowing, and yeah.
Well, everybody's starting to do the hologram thing, right? Where we had the Tupac hologram, then we had the. They might
do
a Nick Saban hologram.
They might body double Nick Saban.
Yeah.
They he goes away. They just find another 70-year-old, pay him $20 million. Say it's 10, pay him $20 million, just have him live as new identity Nick Saban.
Yeah, well, or just they might put his brain into someone else's brain.
Could be another thing.
Or head. We
could upload Nick Saban's brain into like an internet backed up
flash drive.
Yeah, and so
like somebody's holding, it's like, here's Nick Saban. This is just a flash drive they're holding.
I don't know. You've never played Fallout 3, have you? The
I've
president
seen
of the
it.
United States is a computer, so it's not a far-fetched idea. And that's in 2070. So if Nick Saban could somehow live to that time, that's like when it's going to happen.
$11 million a year. It's going to be something too. Like, we're not far off from a player making more, because this has always been for college football.
Players going to make more than the coach.
It's always been like NFL. You have players making more than coaches, obviously, but college, you can get away with like talking down to a kid or telling him what to do because the guys don't make anymore. You've said that many a time.
Yeah, no, you're a peon,
right?
And you're going to get treated like one.
But now,
not anymore.
$11 million a year is not far-fetched anymore, as you have Tennessee has a kid coming in for $9 million.
Dude, if I was making $11 million, I wouldn't have let my strength coach get in my face at all. But I didn't. So I sat there and took it.
See, that's what I think. If there's one thing that's going to push Nick Saban out the door faster, it's that. I think the continuing of the NIL, because it's going to continue.
No, in a weird way, I think, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think the money's just going to go up. Everyone's just going to get paid more. If anything, I think we're in the worst of NIL right now.
I disagree. I think people want to say that because they think some sort of regulation is going to happen, but they can't. There's just no way to regulate this anymore until a union comes up, and then like it's going to be a lot of other factors that's going to happen.
I'm not expecting on any regulation. I think the market's going to re-regulate because they're like, what we're doing is stupid. This is ridiculous, and we're obviously not getting a return on this money. I think that's going to happen.
Maybe. There's a lot of money in a lot of businesses out there, though.
Yeah, I know. They signed like 15 Vanderbilt O-linemen to Hooters contracts. And I'm not bitter.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I did not hear about this.
I'm not bitter. That's dumb. What's a Vanderbilt O-lineman going to sell for you, having them on your brand?
What did they? When did this happen? Hold on. This is news to me.
They signed like Hooters signed an NIL deal with like 50 O-linemen around the country, and like 6 of them were from Vandy.
I had no. When did that happen?
2 days ago, yesterday.
Oh wow, this is a complete new shock to me. I cannot believe you didn't send this to me.
No, it doesn't surprise me that I know things and you don't.
No, this one is surprising. So I'm looking at it now. They signed 51 offensive linemen from 10 different schools: Auburn, FAU, Georgia Tech, LSU, Miami, Mizzou, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, and USF.
I wonder what.
Also, all of these teams were recruiting Bruno. At least the majority of them were recruiting Bruno. It's and Joe Townsend. Yeah. These are actually offers, I think. Joe Townsend got.
Yeah, but second of all, signing 50 old linemen, like either they're not making a lot or Hooters is just throwing away money.
Yeah, I wonder how much that was. I did not hear about this. So this happened yesterday. This was yesterday. This happened. I'm surprised Vanderbilt's even like, I can't imagine Vanderbilt's happy about this.
Vanderbilt's the type of school to be like, to make kids turn down their NIL.
Yes.
They're the type of people that gaslight you that making money is bad. They're like, that's not smart.
That threw me off so hard. I didn't even realize it. Also, I forgot that John Daly's son is also signed to him, NIL, and for golf. John Daly II. And John Daly has a sponsorship deal with him as well. They just have all the John Daly. That's crazy. Okay, so that got me. That was shocking. I had no idea about that. Thank you for letting me know that. I cannot believe I didn't hear anything about that beforehand.
Sorry, I figured.
So, but still, back to my point about Nick Saban. I think it still runs him off because at some point he's not going to be able to do what Nick Saban does.
Fair. You're going to be right by criteria. He's extremely old, so he's going to retire. And you can't just say, "Oh, it's because of NIL."
He's not going to get to 2030. Look, if he gets to 2030 and he's almost 80 years old, and he's like, "I'm hanging it up," I'm not going to be like, "Yeah, NIL broke him." You know, like I'm not gonna. That's not what I'm going to say. He's going to be 79 years old.
He doesn't do anything with NIL. He doesn't do anything with NIL at all. He doesn't do a single thing with NIL.
Well, what I think, no,
they have 1 million employees that do it.
No, I agree. What I'm saying, stick with me here. What I'm saying is that he is going to lose football games because Alabama's not going to be the highest bidder in these games.
But they are.
For now. I think that's going to change. I think eventually what's going to happen with NIL, we've talked about this before, what's eventually going to happen with NIL is that you're going to see the complete shift of teams that have, because you can still ride Alabama right now in the side of, yeah, they have money and they can pay, and they've been traditionally a strong team. But eventually you're going to have a change in the guard where they're not going to be winning as much because they're going to be more level playing field, and then the whole tradition of Alabama is going to take some away, and then you're going to have other teams that are quickly going to jump up because they are paying more, because there's guys like Lane Kiffin or whoever that understand the deals and are okay to go after them. I know Nick Saban now all of a sudden has, said, oh, don't worry, Alabama's got their money's fine, blah, blah, blah. And he's, all for NIL now, even though when it first popped up, he was clearly against it. And the reason why he was against it is because he knew it was going to work against him. It was going to take what he was good at, which is winning football games, and the winning doesn't matter anymore. That's to me, it doesn't matter. A kid's not going to be like, oh, I'm so glad I got the national championship. What they're going to say is, I'm so glad I got a $100 million contract with Nike and I won a national championship because they signed our entire team and our entire team is bringing in because we went to Oregon or something like that. That's where I think he's going to get pushed out. I don't think Alabama's going to be able to see a top bidder in this.
I think Alabama's going to be a top team as long as Nick Saban's there. The second he's gone, it's over. It's as simple as that.
Well, I agree with that. When he leaves, it's definitely
not before.
over.
If he's there, they're going to be good, no matter what.
So you think he could take 3-star, 4-star guys
UCLA
all the way through,
or USC had top signing classes anyways without NIL, and they were dog awful forever anyways. Alabama has some formula figured out, and NIL isn't going to stop them. Texas A&M might steal a game from them. Auburn might. Ole Miss might. That's all already happened anyways.
Yeah.
Alabama loses games. So they can't just lose the next one to Texas A&M this year, next year, and everyone go, NIL's got Nick Saban.
No, I think in a couple years, though, it's going to happen. The playing field is going to be evened out. That's what I think it's going to be. They may have it all ready to go or whatever. They might have some system that just kind of works. I just think that at some form or fashion, you're going to see a lot of evening to money just winning it out of games. Because then you can't do it. You can't put the toothpaste back in the bottle. It's not going to happen.
I just don't think money equates to wins as much as you think it does. I think you think money is just...
No. I'm not saying that.
Texas is going to have the most expensive 4-win team in college football this
I'm not
season.
saying money is going to directly give you wins. What I'm saying is I don't think the better players, you're going to have more spread out product of better players that Alabama would typically be able to bring in, but they're not going in there because they're wanting to win. They're going into different teams because of the money. So it doesn't mean Alabama's going to be I'm not saying they're going to be just bottom of the barrel or something, but I don't think he's going to find the same level of success as he would have 5-6 years ago.
I'll take it deeper.
Or before
if all the top talent is spread out, so every 5-star, Alabama doesn't get 5 stars anymore. We spread all the 5 stars out to different schools. They all get $10 million because they're the man at their school. Alabama's going to get the 14 4-stars. The top 3 stars. There are 3-star players that should be 5. They're
for sure. Stars are kind of irrelevant in the end of the day.
Yeah, so they're going to get all these 4-star guys who are like, well, I'm not the big dog. I'm not going to make the money. So I'll just go to Alabama and try and prepare for the NFL because they're the Alabama's going to have it figured out. These other teams are catching up still, like a lot. It's not going to change within a year. At the end of the day, the practices aren't looking different. If there was a team out there that was greatly benefiting from NIL, we would know. You know what happened at Texas, Austin? They named their quarterback that true freshman that's getting paid $1 zillion, and everyone's like, we're going to lose. NIL's going to get exposed.
You are.
Yeah, so catch what I'm putting down.
I just think that the money we're seeing is not, I don't think it's done growing. I think it's going to go up and up and up and up and up and up. I do think at some point it's going to re-level out. Because they're going to realize it's kind of crazy, but I think now, though...
When $1 million assets just disappear. Because that's happening right now.
It's so great. Hey.
No, it's awesome.
You know what? Also, these corporations or whatever, they can afford it. That's actually what it is at the end of the day. So whatever it is works. We need to run to a break. When we come back, we'll have Bo Brack on, talk some Cardinals. Before we go to that break, though, talking college football, FanDuel wants you to be ready for game day when college football kicks off this week. Right now, new customers can get $150 in free bets guaranteed for week 1. Just place a $5 bet and you get $150 in free bets if you win or lose. Look, we talk about all the time the same game parlays. Love the same game parlays. There's Bruno and I talk about them consistently. And if you want to do that, there's some good ones in there, especially with college football early, where you can build not just same game parlays, but also just parlays all the way through there that you can get some easy winners across. That's a good thing about college football. It's pretty. You can pick winners pretty easily through those, and I love seeing those. I love seeing it, or you can go for it all with national championship futures. Check it. There's just tons of it on there on FanDuel. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. The app is so easy to use. There's always hooking you up with great odds, and when you win, you'll get paid fast. So see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel app today and sign up with promo code TAS and place a $5 bet to get $150 in free bets guaranteed and kick off the college football season. That's TAS, the afternoon stretch. TAS. Now, you got to be 21 and up and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Woo! It's a scorcher out there, but we've got tips that'll keep you chilling this August. Tip number 1, keep your AC in peak condition. Tip number 2, drink lots of fluids. Tip number 3, go for refreshing top prizes up to a cool $1,000,000 by playing all new August Insta games from the Tennessee Lottery. All of these exhilarating games can lead to cold, hard cash. So head to the shade of your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer and enjoy some game-changing fun today.
Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Please play responsibly.
From scholarship and grant programs to providing students with the qualifications and certifications they need to start their professional careers, the Tennessee Lottery has awarded more than $6.5 billion in funding to education programs, and we're proud to play our part. See for yourself how all of the fun of the Tennessee Lottery goes to supporting someone's future and a brighter tomorrow at tnlottery.com.
Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is Chip. For more than 100 years, American Humane has been on the front lines protecting animals in times of crisis. From Pearl Harbor to 9/11, the California wildfires, and the coronavirus pandemic, American Humane Rescue has provided life-saving assistance for animals in virtually every major national disaster. If you're anything like me, your pets mean the world to you. And if disaster strikes, you want to keep them safe. To prepare for an oncoming disaster, ensure your pet has secure and up-to-date identification. And if you must evacuate, remember to take your disaster preparedness kit with you. To learn more about disaster planning and how to keep your best friends safe, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a drama coach to be an IT guy.
Yeah, I'm having trouble logging in.
I'm not buying it. Say it again, this time with feeling.
I can't log in?
Come on, man. I want to feel your struggle.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Now, like your life depends on it.
I can't log in.
Yes, we'll make an actor out of you yet.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
I'm Joe Fisher. Join me for the Mid-State Checkdown High School Football Game of the Week. We will be at Creekwood High School on August 26th as Fairview visits Creekwood. It's a 6:45 airtime. Looking forward to some great high school football. Fairview at Creekwood. Greg Pogue will be with me. I look forward to a great broadcast and a wonderful high school football game. 6:45 p.m. is the start on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
The show that makes the average person say, hey, I can do that. The Afternoon Stretch.
Welcome back to the Afternoon Stretch. Bruno Reagan, Zach Williams here in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. Let's go to the Cure Hotline. Definitely we're going to have a lot of this talking tomorrow because we'll have the aftermath, if you will, of everything happening. But the Cardinals Arizona Cardinals are coming in for joint practice with the Tennessee Titans. And then obviously their preseason game over this weekend coming up as well. A lot of stories going on, though, with the Cardinals this offseason. A ton to talk about Cardinals. I imagine it's been very busy in the Arizona area for fans out there if you're a Cardinals fan. A lot of different things happening. I mean, we got a lot of that to talk about. Wanted to find someone to talk about it. Found Bo Brack. We always look for new friends, right? That's what we always talk about. We're always looking for new friends. We'll see if Bo's going to be a new friend. You can follow him on Twitter at Bo Brack. He is a Arizona Cardinals reporter and host of the Phoenix Cardinals podcast. Bo, how are you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Just wandering the desert before you guys found me, and I appreciate it. Ready to talk some football.
That's out there in Arizona. See, you guys are outlaws out there because y'all started the whole trend in Arizona of not following the farmers with the daylight savings and all that. So you guys are like natural outlaws out there.
That's right. It's the wild, wild west. We are refusing to change our clocks.
Yeah, exactly. So much to talk about with the Cardinals and this offseason. What has been the vibe from you and what you've seen so far out there from Arizona fans and what the Cardinals have done this offseason? I mean, there's so many different storylines that we can talk about, but what has been the vibe from that fan group and then also the media with you in there covering all the Cardinals?
It's a couple different vibes. I mean, I think there's the team that wants to focus on business on the field, and there's been several distractions all offseason long. There hasn't been a whole lot of player movement. This is a team that went 11-6 last year, had a playoff appearance after kind of coming a long way from 2018 where they won only 3 games and got the number 1 pick and pivoted to Kyler Murray. It was a real slow, tumultuous, dramatic offseason where, Kyler Murray and his representation wanted to force the issue as far as getting that contract extension in going into his 4th season, and there wasn't much as far as adding to this team that had so much success, and there was the Hollywood Grant Brown acquisition and then arrest before training camp. So there's just been a ton of distractions. They even had a running backs coach that was arrested during training camp. So, along with the excitement for this team on the field, there was a lot of drama off the field. So I think this team, as we sit about like 20 days away from September 11th when they open up against the Chiefs, they just want to get to the regular season and see if this team can kind of duplicate what it did early last year where they went 7-0, 10-2, instead of the team that kind of fell short and fell off at the end of last season, as Cliff Kingsbury coach teams have done, dating back to 2013 in his Texas Tech days. So it's kind of an uneven feeling. And I think a lot of people, right, if they're pessimistic, I think you'd have to be naive to say, hey, they're just going to come back and things are just going to be business as usual, because they've certainly been through a ton this offseason to just shrug off and then kind of let the play on the field speak for itself.
So obviously I guess the biggest storyline that we've had, even though there's been multiple of them out there, the biggest storyline is the contract with Kyler Murray. Of course, the film watching clause, if you will, that was in there, 4 hours a week of film watching. First off, when you first saw that, when that news got out, which I love it when all these contracts leak out and then it's just 45,000 people have access to these things, so that how do they ever expect to hide anything? But when you first saw that, what was your first initial thought when you read that?
This is ridiculous. It was the team trying to be too smart for the room. 31 other teams, go through these situations, these contracts. If you're lucky, you pick the right quarterback in the draft, and you're fortunate enough to be able to extend them, and you have to pay him the market price. But this team was listening to what people were saying outside of the organization, and they thought, okay, well, we're going to be the smartest people in the room, and we're going to put this clause in here, and we're going to cover our butt. We're not going to be burned if some of the rumors are true regarding this quarterback, even though he hasn't really shown to merit the addendum that was there for less than a week, because it was there and then they removed it after the public outcry. It was just a bad look, and I think most of it falls squarely on the shoulders of the organization trying to cover their butt on a franchise-changing, historic amount of money. It was a big misstep that I think a lot of people, as the season draws closer, are starting to forget about, because we're seeing a lot of good things from Kyler Murray since he's sign that contract, and that's kind of on par with the player that's been here for 3 seasons already and lived up to his hype so far. So I think people are excited about that.
We're talking with Bo Brack. You can follow him on Twitter at Bo Brack. He is a Cardinals reporter, host of the Phoenix Cardinals podcast. So we have, obviously, the joint practice coming up here for the Tennessee Titans and the Cardinals. Something that's weird that's coming out of this. The Titans and the Cardinals are only practicing one day together. Then the next day, they are just splitting off and I guess going to be just next to each other doing their regular practice. Do you think that's anything with just Cliff Kingsbury, Mike Vrabel, or is there more going on there, or is there less going on there than we can really think?
So we talked to Cliff today before they headed to Nashville, and he had mentioned, somebody brought that up during his press availability, and he had said that it was mostly that the Arizona Cardinals, and I don't know if this is true with the Tennessee Titans, but he had talked with Vrabel that the Cardinals have been bit by the injury bug, and they're down several interior offensive linemen. They just made a trade for an offensive lineman, and I think that they want to have. They've been looking forward to these practices, but it's just coming at a bad time. J.J. Watt's going to miss it. He's out with COVID. You're down several members of your O-line, so I think they just wanted to because they wanted to get the competitiveness. Obviously face guys they haven't been facing all training camp long outside of the preseason games. And they just decided, hey, let's do this, but let's not do this too many days to where we more of these injuries pile up. So that's what Cliff told us today. Seems like it's just something they're trying to avoid any other injuries during these.
Now, you've been going to training camp. What have you seen when you're talking about the competitiveness level of the Cardinals and obviously all these off-the-field things that are dealing? Have you been seeing this a different Cardinals organization, or have you been seeing business as usual? What have you been seeing so far?
It's a strange camp to attend. I mean, if I don't know how the ship that Vrabel runs there, I can watch Hard Knocks and watch the Detroit Lions with Dan Campbell, and I'll tell you, this is the complete polar opposite kind of camp. Like it looks like a day spa sometimes out there. But Cliff is.
Oh, we might have lost you there for just a second, Bo. Hey, Bo, I think we're cutting in and out here. We might have to jump on a new line with Bo. This is one of those things, Bruno, with Arizona. Cell phone signals aren't always the best cell phone signals you can get out there. I don't know. I'm filling time now.
No, you want to know what the first thing I thought was when he said, "Yeah, I'm just out here hanging out in the desert." I instantly thought of like Breaking Bad and Walt out in the desert, without pants. That's how I pictured him talking on the phone with us, just out in the desert, no pants, with the RV behind him.
Jesse, we gotta cook again. Yeah,
Mr. White.
Mr. White. We're going to get Bo back on here. Hey, Bo, sorry about that. I think we lost you there for just a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, perfect. So just repeat. Let's just go ahead and repeat the entire interview. Welcome in, Bo Brack. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to. So what was the last thought there that we cut you off on with the cell phone service?
I mean, Cliff is a player's coach, and he's not a guy that runs a real hard camp. They are focused on having their guys at 100%, guys who have battled injuries throughout their career, but when they're healthy, they're very productive. James Conner, Kyler Murray, J.J. Watt. So they're just trying to get to the finish line and kick this season off completely healthy. So he doesn't have the guys have grueling camps, and they've had a ton of vet days. So most of this is just the evaluation process. Young players, guys fight spots, but for the most part, you've got a bunch of starters already in place, and there are very few starting jobs that are up for grabs. So it's not it's the complete polar opposite of what you see on Hard Knocks with Dan Campbell and the Lions.
Follow him on Twitter at Bo Brack. Bruno Reagan, say hello to Bo.
What up, Bo? How you doing, man?
Hey, Bruno, what's going on? Good.
Not much. So we all here's where we're connected as Arizona and Tennessee people is we watched Chandler Jones take our soul last season in the first game. So that was pretty cool. And after that, I kind of followed Jones' season, and he was still doing pretty well. Kind of lost some steam, but it's hard to replace that performance with the Titans. And he's hitting the GM's pockets, and the Cardinals come out and say, "Yeah, we're not in the business of letting these guys walk." But Jones ends up signing with the Raiders. How does that how does that go down because with A.J. Brown signed when he got traded to the Eagles, when we lost like our big name, it's Titans Twitter nation freaked out.
Right.
Was that kind of the same thing with Jones, or was this something expected? Because it sucks not to see him with the Cardinals.
It was pretty expected. I mean, the previous offseason, they let Patrick Peterson walk, who was one of the faces of the franchise for so long and played at a very high level. But, he'd reached, he was older than 30 years old, and he was looking for a little bit above market value, and that's what Chandler Jones got this past offseason. So I don't think the Cardinals were in the business of paying Chandler Jones $17.5 million per what he received from the Raiders. So it was just one of those things where they were prepared to let him walk. And after the Titans game, I mean, he has the 5 sacks, right, and he takes advantage of Taylor Lewan, who was coming off an injury, and he had 5.5 sacks the rest of the season. So, I think the Arizona Cardinals thought that they can find a cheaper way to get that kind of production. Sure, you're not going to be able to replace Chandler Jones and everything he brings, but they feel as far as getting to the quarterback, they can pair somebody with Marcus Golden opposite him and get enough production from a pair of third-rounders and some guys that have been waiting in the wings and kind of have a rotation instead of having to really back up the Brinks truck to a guy who's 32 years old, who spent his best years with the Arizona Cardinals in the desert.
Yeah, all right. Because it kind of reminded me of our own AJ situation, except AJ's a little younger, but he's got the knees of a 32-year-old.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it doesn't work out super well. Well, I mean, you look at this team, Bo, and you look at the NFC right now as a whole. It's definitely in a weakened state. So much so that Tom Brady laughs at it and just goes on vacation for 15 days. Because he's like, I'm getting to the playoffs regardless right now. Where are you lining up the Cardinals as they stand in the NFL side of things? Like rankings-wise, NFC.
Exactly right. I think that this team is definitely a top 7 NFC team, and they should be able to punch their ticket back to the postseason just because the conference is a little bit weaker than it has been in the last couple of years. I mean, the biggest thing is to not be cannibalized by your division, because that's the toughest part. You've got the Super Bowl champion Rams. You've got the 49ers who are hoping to have the same success they did last year with an NFC Championship game appearance, and Seattle's down. But other than you've got 4 games against some contenders there that you're going to have to be competitive in. So if they own the division, they should be okay.
Talking with Bo Brack. Once again, go follow him on Twitter at Bo Brack, BOBRACK. Arizona Cardinals reporter and host of the Phoenix Cardinals podcast. So when you're looking at this team, we got to, especially as reporters, right? You got to have journalistic integrity and things like that. Where do you see right now the biggest faults with the Arizona Cardinals coming into the season?
Defensive secondary, no doubt about it. The cornerback room is too thin. They've got, Byron Murphy, Marco Wilson, who's a second-year, fourth, who's going to start, or a journeyman in Antonio Hamilton. But outside of that, they don't really have anybody that can cover. You're impressed by the safety group. I mean, Budda Baker, Jalen Thompson, and Isaiah Simmons is kind of part of that safety group, but there's really nobody that you can say is an NFL caliber starting cornerback outside of Byron Murphy. So it's thin. I would expect this team is going to add somebody between now and the start of the season. But it's really going to be something. I think there's enough guys in the pass rush that they can get some production there. But the cornerback room, it's going to be tough, especially you're going up against the NFC West. You got the AFC West with all those quarterbacks and wide receivers, tight ends in that division. It's too thin right now to where that is going to be a big problem area if they move forward with just the guys that they have in place right now.
Now, Bo, I'm going to ask you something for my own personal sense. Do you know, have you seen a player named Chris Pierce out in camp? Tight end, I believe. Are you familiar with him?
Chris Pierce?
Yes.
Yes, he's pretty far down the depth chart, yep.
I was going to ask you, do you think he has a chance of making the team?
That's that's one of the deeper groups they have as far as, they've got Ertz, he's got a calf injury right now, probably won't see any time, just had a kid as well. Trey McBride they took in the second round, and then they've got Max Williams, who's their primary blocking tight end, and then maybe Steven Anderson, who they just signed from the Chargers.
Wow, so you're not kidding. I mean, that's 4 tight ends ahead of him. Well,
yeah.
I appreciate the checkup. I've been wondering how it's been going for the youngin over there, so I appreciate it.
I mean, he's seen a lot of time in the preseason, but it's because, their main guys have either been battling injury or they're pretty much getting ready for the regular season. So you'll see a guy like that come Saturday.
Yeah, Chris, it sounds like Chris is probably competing for a spot on another team, or if he's lucky, practice squad.
Well, he has number 49 right now, and that never bodes well for any player, I feel like.
Hey, that's rookie life.
Well, see, and this is the thing, Bo. Bruno is a former Vandy lineman, so he's just worried. He just wants to see some sort of semblance of Vandy in the NFL. That's just kind of how it all works out here. So it's really just he wants to see himself out there, is what it is.
He's better. Just turn on like reality TV, and you'll get Jay Cutler. There's your Phil right there, fantasy NFL guys.
You can follow him on Twitter once again at Bo Brack. He is the Arizona Cardinals reporter and host of Phoenix Cardinals podcast. Bo, thank you so much for jumping on with us, my man. Tell Kyler Murray in the back there to be a little bit, get back to watching some film. I hear him crying in the background back there.
I will. Yeah, he's drying his tears with $230 million.
Hey, thanks, buddy. We'll get you on in the future, my man.
Thanks. Sounds good.
Good stuff there with Bo Brack. Appreciate him jumping on. I didn't even get to mention this because he's verified on Twitter too. Makes me angry, Makes me angry as another person not verified on Twitter, and I have to sit here and look at your ugly face, which you have 2 verifications.
Double verified.
You're double
Can't
verified.
Can't get it on Facebook though.
Well, I don't even know if anybody wants. I don't think there's a. That's just like a server in the back room.
Well, I'm just doing side quests now,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just doing side quests. So it's funny you mentioned Jay Cutler. I told you my one Jay Cutler story, right?
Let's tell it after we come back from the break.
It was 5 seconds, but let's do it.
Well, okay. Then go ahead and tell it real quick.
It just walked by him. We were like, wow, that's Jay Cutler. And he looks at us on our mopeds. He's like, those things got a weight limit? And that was the only thing he ever said to us.
You know what? I'm glad we talked that story right now. That was a good one. I've not heard that. Were you on a moped or were you on
I was walking.
the scooters?
I was walking. My buddy was on a moped, like an actual moped.
Oh,
so he was just
like
driving
a Vespa
beside
or
me.
something.
Yeah, he was just driving beside me. We were like, who walked by? And we were like, wow, that's Jay Cutler. And he just turns around. He's like, those things got a weight limit, and then just keeps walking.
Who was the friend?
Cole Harden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't school though. All right, that's what I was wondering. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, by the way, fair question. If both 2 offensive linemen are on a moped, it probably needs. I love just the confident, subtle shot at people that are bigger than him.
Hey, he didn't know us. He didn't even know. He might not know. We were at Magoogan, but
no, he didn't even know if you were football players.
I mean, yeah, we were just guys.
Just 2 fat guys on a moped. Time for a joke. Hey, respect them.
That's the kind of guy.
All right. We need to run to a break. If you want to jump in, Cure Hotline wide open, 615-844-5600 here on the Afternoon Stretch.
One of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is that I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine prop bets from multiple games and now even multiple sports. It's called Same Game Parlay Plus, so you can only find them on FanDuel. Combine player props you love with your favorite baseball home run hitters for a chance to score an even bigger payout. If you don't want to build your Same Game Parlay, check out their popular Same Game Parlay section where you can join the bets other users are jumping on. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code GregP to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make every moment more. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just use promo code GregP.
Use the promo code GregP.
See, and from the Peanuts section, John Burton.
Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789.
So when we brought him home, we didn't realize that Bear, the rescue dog, was actually sick. He had very flaky skin. He was dropping a lot of fur, and Levette wanted to do steroid injections, special dog food. Nothing seemed to work, so I was at a dead end.
DINOVITE.com.
I've been hearing Dinovite on the radio for years. It never actually crossed my mind to try it until it finally sunk in. Oh, you're talking about hair and skin. And, all right, I'll try it. Well, it took probably 6 weeks, but after we started using Dinovite, no more flaky skin. He doesn't scratch and itch, and he started to put weight on.
Dinovite is nutrition.
I wish that we would have started the Dinovite right away. It would have been so much easier.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
Every rescue dog in America deserves Dinovite for 90 days.
DINOVITE.com.
The Locksmith Company, our full-service locksmithing expert, is reminding Americans to show support to the brave men and women who serve our U.S. military. This message is brought to you by The Locksmith Company, a proud veteran employer. For all your residential, commercial, or automotive locksmithing needs, call today for a free estimate or 24/7 emergency service at 931-801-5427. That's 931-801-5427. Online at thelsco.com. The Locksmith Company. Looking forward to seeing you.
Five-state forecast. Your exclusive national sports radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. This afternoon, sunshine with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, a high 90. Slightest chance for a thunderstorm this evening, otherwise partly cloudy tonight, low 70. Saturday, partly sunny with a chance for a shower or thunderstorm. Utilizing the resources of the Mother Bug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Renaud. Sports Radio, WNSR.
It's real simple. You got 2 more quarters and that's it. Now, most of you have been playing this game for 10 years. And you got 2 more quarters, and after that, most of you will never play this game again as long as you live. Now, you all have known me for a while, and for a long time now, you've been hearing me talk about being perfect. Well, I want you to understand something. To me, being perfect is not about that scoreboard out there. It's not about winning. It's about you and your relationship to yourself and your family and your friends. Being perfect is about being able to look your friends in the eye and know that you didn't let them down because you told them the truth. And that truth is that you did everything that you could. There wasn't one more thing that you could have done. Can you live in that moment as best you can with clear eyes and love in your heart?
Billy Bob Thornton from Friday Night Lights.
Oh, that was Nick Saban.
No, I mean, it might be there, but that's played because the man who he was playing, of course, Gary Gaines, he passed away today, 73 years old, who that movie was based upon.
It's a real story?
It's a real story. So it was a book first, as all movies were, pretty much. It was always a book. Buzz Bissinger is the one who wrote that book, 1988 team that was chronicled there with, Boobie Miles and all that kind of stuff. Those were real people. And which then eventually turned into a TV show that was based off all that kind of stuff and then took its own creation there. But what I didn't know, because I was looking into it today, Gaines was quoted as says he never read the book and that he felt betrayed by Bissinger. The author had spent the entire season with Gaines and that team in Odessa, Perriman. And
why do you feel betrayed? Perryman?
Yeah, for some reason. I guess because he thinks the way that it was handled, maybe he didn't think it actually was a representation of him. But I would thought Billy Bob Thornton's character and that Gaines' character is like a loving person. So
he's like, I had evil in my heart.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I hated these kids. I ran them like crazy. Maybe that's what it was. He was 73, passed away today. So wanted to put a little memory out there for what he at least created, because tons of people, I mean, still, that's one of those movies when football season gets going. Them, what do you got? You got Remember the Titans.
The Gridiron Gang with the Rock.
Gridiron Gang, that's a good one. I love it when he comes out in all football gear. Because, they had the football gear ready for him already. He's bigger than every kid out there, but they just had it already. What's another? Radio. That's another big football movie a lot of people will go back and watch when football season comes around. I miss Last Chance U. That hadn't come out for football.
Yeah, Last Chance U is just sad to me, though, because it's all like that's just real.
Well, yeah.
Kids taking off their pads at halftime, and it's just not a good look.
So we're going to continue our historic journey of learning what's happening today in sports history, because Bruno and I are always trying to gain more and more knowledge about everything. Actually, sorry, we're not going to. We forgot about the Braves.
We got Braves.
Braves took us over. Tomorrow we're going to learn more about history. That slipped my mind. Hey, there you go. There's a mess up for Zach. Chalk it up.
God, you're such an idiot.
I really am. Should have just ended on the Gaines thing, talking about football movies. That would have been great.
Yeah.
There's moments you can't go back and take anything away. But I wouldn't take the show and change it for anything. It's been a good one today. Thank you to everybody who called in, commented, and watched in. Thanks, Bro Brack, jumping on, talking some Cardinals. Got some Braves baseball tonight. Stick with us. You're going to be listening to it right here on Nashville Sports Radio.